This is an official Football League video, one in a series that features Race for the Championship. 60 minutes of non-stop action, captured in the only official video of the pursuit of the Football League trophy. The official and exclusive Football League video of your club's season in Division 1 relives all the games, home and away, all the goals for and against, a collectible must for every supporter. Revel in the First Division's most breathtaking goals in goals galore, and the greatest goalkeepers in action in saves galore. A brilliant 1-2 from the Football League. Welcome to the official Football League video of Southampton's season 1990-1991. Enjoy all the highlights as the Saints complete their 13th successive season in the First Division. You'll see all the goals from all the games, with Mathieu Le Tissier leading the way again. A solid 7th place in the 89-90 campaign was a good foundation for Chris Nicholls' men to build upon. The club season had seen few changes to the first team squad. 2 players left the Dell, Mark Blake to Shrewsbury, Jerry Forrest to Rotherham. Into the squad, the Soviet international Sergei Gotsmanov from Dynamo Minsk via a loan period at Albion. In Tim Flowers, the Saints have a talented young goalkeeper, a past England under-21 international. The youth of Neil Ruddock and the experience of Russell Osman and Kevin Moore providing the central strength to the defence. And after his first full season with the Saints, record signing Barry Horn, again linking with Jimmy Case and Glenn Cockrell in a solid midfield. Up front, the top scorers Mathieu Le Tissier and Rod Wallace hoping to improve on their impressive haul the previous season. So all was in place as the Saints visited last season's runners-up Aston Villa for their first league game.
There was a really cosmopolitan atmosphere at Villa Park, where the home crowd gave new manager Joseph Venglos a warm welcome. But it was the Channel Islander Mathieu Le Tissier, who must be on the verge of an England call-up, who made the biggest impression, scoring what might well have been the goal of the day. He kept his cool to slot it easily past Nigel Spink, a piece of skill from Le Tissier well worth a second look. Villa spent £1.5 million last season on Tony Cascarino's aerial power, and the big Irish international repaid some of that fee when he rose emphatically to head home from Daly's beautifully measured cross. Southampton could have taken all 3 points when Wallace fastened on to a great through ball and unluckily hit the post, leaving Venglos with his first point in the English League.
At the Dell, Southampton against Norwich was settled by a 64th minute own goal. The culprit, John Polston, a recent Norwich recruit from Spurs. His miscalculation presented the points to Southampton.
The corresponding game between these two sides yielded 9 goals last season, so fans at the Dell were right to expect another thriller. But the Danish international Lars Elstrup obviously hadn't read the script. His shot passing underneath Tim Flowers' body to give Luton the lead, despite a desperate effort to clear by Mick Adams. And 7 minutes later, Elstrup added another, his 3rd of the season, heading home unmarked as the Saints defenders seemed to have disappeared. 2-0 to Luton, and the home fans were beginning to wish they were somewhere else as well, until Matthew Le Tissier, an England prospect, produced another sublime moment of skill, providing Paul Rideout with a simple chance. Southampton were back in the game but couldn't add to that goal, as Luton ran out worthy winners in another entertaining match.
Fans weren't exactly thrilled when Rod Wallace put Southampton in front midway through the first half. A great individual goal this one, but the Forest defence had given a perfect demonstration of how not to tackle in the penalty area. The home fans were starting to lose patience with the lacklustre Forest side, and then Terry Wilson restored their faith with a perfectly timed run. Jempson involved here, and there's a beautiful cross played in by Franz Carr, and Wilson at the end of it. Nigel Jempson is another of the growing band of strikers knocking on Graham Taylor's door. Jempson's got 3 goals already before today, and a beautiful one here to add to the collection. Fine tackle coming in from Clough, and just look at this chip from Nigel Jempson. Deserves all the congratulations. It's a marvellously precise effort over the head of the Southampton goalkeeper Tim Flowers. Real craftsman at work, Nigel Jempson. Early in the second half that one, and within a minute Jempson became the First Division's leading marksman. An almighty scramble this time before Jempson hooks home Forest's third. 6 Southampton men back, they can't get the ball away. Off the crossbar from Carr, and Jempson is in there. That's 5 goals for him in a fabulous personal start to the season.
Matthew Le Tissier, another one hoping to catch Graham Taylor's eye, scored first with yet another fine individual goal. Then a Le Tissier corner, Osman's header rebounds off the bar, and Rod Wallace reacts quickly for the second goal.
Despite reports of disharmony in the dressing room, United took the lead after 19 minutes. A corner from Dennis Irwin, United's 5th so far. Fatal hesitation from Southampton keeper Tim Flowers. Brian McClare, the header home. Southampton pulled one back on the half hour. Quickly taken free kick, and Paul Rideout prospered from Barry Horn's neat cross. United won the match in a 2-minute spell early in the second half. Neil Webb's chip, Clayton Blackmore on the end of it. His header passed in front of Flowers' body. And a superb United move here that would have delighted manager Alec Ferguson. Mark Hughes in the clear, round the unfortunate Flowers, and Mark Hughes, his first goal of the season. Rod Wallace is getting a lot of goals for the Saints this season, and there's reward for their late pressure. But United hung on for a win to maintain their challenge at the top.
So 7 points from the first 6 games, a similar start to last season. Jimmy Case missed those last 2 matches with a knee injury. Southampton 11th in Division 1. The season's first cup campaign got off to a flying start at Rochdale, where after a scoreless first half, Shearer with 2 goals, Horn, Ruddock and Wallace all found the target in a 5-0 win. The return leg was a formality, and 19-year-old Nicky Banger made a dream debut with a hat-trick to record an 8-0 aggregate win. But back to the league, the Saints travel to Goodison Park to meet their bogey side, Everton.
Everton followed up their first win of the season in the Rumbelows Cup in midweek with their first league win, this time against an erratic Southampton. The former England forward Tony Colley got 3 in midweek. He got another 2 today. That's his first one, midway through the first half. Six minutes later, McCall for John Ebrell. His shot deflected past keeper Flowers. Some smart work from Pat Nevin in the second half. McCall in the clear and Cottee at the end of it to put Everton 3 up. 3 goals for Everton, 3 assists from McCall, and Everton's first 3 points.
So it's Chelsea, all in blue, who get the match underway, and the former Southampton man Andy Townsend with the first strong surging run of the game, finding Dorigo, who scored in Chelsea's victory here last season. Wise. The little man could be a real handful for Southampton today, as he finds Nicholas, his captain. Wilson let it run on, real danger for a moment, and the clearance only reaches Wise again. And Southampton deal with the first wave of Chelsea attacks with some difficulty. Russell Osman concedes the corner. And the wind at Chelsea's backs in this first half. And the dangerous flick on. It was off the line from Lee's header. Case brings the ball away for Southampton, who might well have conceded a goal here in the opening minute. The ball played upfield and left to Wallace. What a start this is. And Wallace's shot beaten away by Lee, who could have scored at the other end. Well, I don't think anybody expected a dull, goalless game here today, and I don't think we're going to get it. Well, there'll be snow on the ball when it comes down from that kick from Besant. Case gets it clear to Wallace. Moncau. Straight to Cook, and that's a lovely ball for Shearer, and he's got himself away from the defenders here. He's done well. He's done brilliantly. "13 minutes gone, and Alan Shearer has given Southampton the lead. He did so well to anticipate the through ball and hold off the challenge from Dorigo, and the finish crisp as you like. Alan Shearer gets his 3rd goal of the season. The other 2 coming in the Rumbelows tie against Rochdale, and the young Geordie showed great presence. Ruddock. Shearer, a bit unlucky then. Clark intercepted. On from Nicholas. Dodd read it well. But here's Townsend, and now Dixon, and Townsend again, and Clark, and he's made room for the shot, and he's scored. The equaliser in the 22nd minute. Steve Clark's first goal of the season for Chelsea. Dodd's header dropping straight to Townsend. He immediately found Dixon, and Townsend's strength really set up the opening here, but how well Clark took it. Steve Clark, who scored 5 goals for Chelsea from the right-back role last season, showing again how dangerous he can be when he comes forward. Well finished. Instructions from Bobby Campbell, the Chelsea manager, to his team to attack in the last couple of minutes of the half here. Jury in possession. Osman dispossesses him and finds Wallace. Letizia. Wallace has gone forward. It was a shame. Letizia couldn't deliver a better ball than that. Meantime, the threat on the Southampton goal from Dixon. Oh, it's a lovely ball, Wilson! With less than 2 minutes to half-time, Kevin Wilson restores Chelsea's lead. He's been on target in each of his last 6 games now, Kevin Wilson. And Kerry Dixon laid that one on for him beautifully. Wilson scored in both matches against Southampton last season, so he's proving a real thorn in the side of the Saints. But what a lovely ball that was by Dixon. And that's gone for a corner off Dorigo. So Southampton have started the second half with a flurry of corner kicks. Le Tissier will take this. Osman, Ruddock, Case, Cook, they're all lurking on the edge of the penalty area. Oh, it's in! And the presence of at least one of those big central defenders made all the difference. Neil Ruddock hammering the ball towards goal. Le Tissier's kick floated in delightfully, skidded off ahead. Ruddock anticipated the dropping ball, and it's 2-2. Shearer. Clark has got himself into trouble with Wallace. Case. On it goes to Cook. Shearer on the far post. Wallace! Yes! What a beauty! Into the second half, Southampton 2-1 down at half-time have turned the scoreline in their favour. It's Saints 3, Chelsea 2. Rodney Wallace's 5th goal in his last 6 games, and the link-up for Southampton was superb. Cook knocking it back in here, a lovely header by Shearer, first time finish from Wallace. Well, he got 2 goals when the sides met here last season, and that's a very important strike. Good ball from the left by Cook. Shearer read it well, smashing finish. And Dennis Rowe just offering some advice to Southampton about how to retain their lead this time. Here's Jury. He's got Wilson in a good position in the penalty area. Osman's challenge, and it's a penalty. The referee is surrounded by furious Southampton players, but Osman's tackle on Gordon Jury has gained Chelsea a penalty. 17 minutes to go. He certainly took him. Was it deliberate? The referee says yes. And Dennis Wise, whose only goal so far for Chelsea came from the penalty spot, the winning goal in fact when they beat Sunderland at Stamford Bridge, has an opportunity to bring Chelsea level here. It's 3-3. Wise celebrates with the travelling Chelsea fans, and this amazing game has produced a 6th goal from the penalty spot this time. Southampton 3, Chelsea 3.
Southampton striker Matthew Le Tissier is said to be finding life much harder this season. Le Tissier feels defenders may have got wise to him, but he is back to his best at Coventry. A low cross spins in off the luckless Peter Billing. The Saints get an early lead. Coventry draw level just before half-time though. Cyril Regis brought down by Neil Ruddock. That's an obvious penalty. Brian Borrows against Tim Flowers. And Borrows buries the kick. The Sky Blues are level. In the second half, Le Tissier really stamped his authority on the game. Delightful back heel leads to a free kick. Grizovic tries to organise his wall. And the free kick with the veteran Case there. Watch this curler from Le Tissier. Super goal, Saints' first away win, and Le Tissier already an under-21 international, full honours can't be that far away for this exciting player. Derby manager Arthur Cox missed the trip to the south coast. He stayed at home to convalesce after a nose operation. The seaside air though did his players no harm at all. Mick Harford scored the vital goal early on. Southampton pressed with Russell Osman coming closest to an equaliser. 25-yarder off Peter Shilton's bar. The goal though would not come, and Derby, looking much better than their lowly first division position suggests, held on for the points.
Indifferent league form had left the Saints 14th in the table, down in the lower half of the division. That defeat at home to Derby, coming after a rare victory at Highfield Road, only the Saints' second win there since 1949. But the team bounced back in midweek with a disciplined display and a 2-0 defeat of Ipswich in the Rumbelows Cup. The reward a home tie against Crystal Palace. Back to the league now, and the Saints faced Wimbledon at Plough Lane.
Well, coming up now, the strangest goal of the weekend, scored after 62 minutes of the game at Plough Lane. Wimbledon on the attack with Terry Gibson. Shot in from McGee, and watch here. What a strange goal. Fullback Mickey Adams, but it goes down cruelly as an own goal against the keeper Tim Flowers. Southampton get back on terms with a penalty, not for that offence, but it's Roger Joseph coming in there, bringing down Alan Shearer. It's the second offence here. That means an equalising opportunity for Southampton, and it's gratefully accepted by Matthew Le Tissier. 1-1, and Wimbledon still just can't win at home. It's been a mixed season so far for Southampton down on the south coast, and their home form has been indifferent. But Queen's Park Rangers caught them on one of their best days. Paul right out on the end of the cross, and the Saints get an early lead. Queen's Park Rangers with just one away win in 6 matches, looking anything but inspired, but they get back into it against the run of play. The equaliser just 5 minutes from half-time through Mark Falco. Rangers had their moments in the second half, but the Saints sealed it with 2 goals in the last quarter of an hour. Watch here for a marvellous effort from Matthew Le Tissier beyond the confused keeper Jan Stayskal. And directly from a long clearance, there's slack defensive work by Queen's Park Rangers, and great opportunism from Rodney Wallace. Convincing win, it lifts Southampton out of the bottom half of the First Division.
Arsenal responded to the deduction of 2 points by turning in perhaps their best performance of the season. With 20 minutes gone, Perry Groves beats Mickey Adams here and stabs the ball to Paul Merson, who does what he gets paid to do. In the 32nd minute, Arsenal go 2 up. Perry Groves on the ball now, and watch out for a beautiful ball coming up from Paul Davis. Through it goes to Anders Limpar. He slides it past Tim Flowers in the Southampton goal, and Limpar very much the darling of the North Bank at the moment. Six minutes later, Nigel Winterburn has the ball.
However, there was revenge on Crystal Palace for the league defeat, Southampton knocking them out of the Rumbelows Cup the following Wednesday. That clinched a quarter-final place for the third year running.
Real move of the match, and David Phillips provided the finish. That shot too good for Tim Flowers. Second half, 2 goals in 2 minutes settled the match. The first courtesy of Saints defender Neil Ruddock. You don't want to see a video of that one again. And the applause had barely died down when Norwich fullback Mark Bowen forced his way into the Saints area. There's a poor back pass from Cockrell. 3-1. The Saints snowed under.
Slipping further down the First Division, a relegation fight now looking a possibility, even though just 2 clubs would be going down. It was time to move into the transfer market, and on the following Monday, Chris Nicholl bought Alan McLaughlin from Swindon for £1 million, setting a new club record. The Republic of Ireland international made his debut at home to Aston Villa.
Keep your eye on the Southampton number 7, Matthew Le Tissier. Le Tissier had a bout of flu and had to pull out of the England trip to Algeria in midweek. Involved right at the start of the move, and when it comes back to Mick Adams, just watch who pops up to nod the ball in. Yes, it's Le Tissier. The Saints in front, just before half-time. 10 minutes from time, there's a controversial penalty decision from the same referee who sent off Tony Adams last week. This is Daly, and down he goes. Was he in the box, and was he brought down illegally? It's a very close thing. A penalty is given, and David Platt has the responsibility. And Platt, the England international, delighted with that. Villa's first away goal since September.
Ruddock, tight on Rush. Okay, a lot of players ahead of him. Wallace could line it up. Rodney Wallace! Oh, and it's torn into the back of the net! So, Southampton, who come out here to attack Liverpool and really risk the consequences at their own end, and Grobbelaar got to it, but it was just too hot for him. Rodney Wallace, who's been frustrated as a substitute over the past few weeks, bursting to get back into the action and nearly bursting the net. Houghton, Barnes and Rush and Flowers. It hasn't got in. My word, they have ridden their luck, Southampton, but they lead with 90. And this holiday season spectacular is well underway at Anfield. Inevitability about it. Delighted scorer. And a high quality move in keeping with all that is the best at Liverpool Football Club. And that would have ripped aside better defences than Southampton's. Barnes beckoning Burrow. It's quite a comeback from Ronnie Rosenthal. And Ian Rush was pretty unlucky himself. But he'll be delighted that Liverpool have now turned it round. They were one down after. Liverpool often prefer to play their corners short. To be a bit more productive from them than that. Shearer. Letitia. Oh, Hussein's made a mistake. Wallace against Grobbelaar. He's passed him, he must score, he has done, it's 2-2. And Glenn Hussein looks down in disgust. Rodney Wallace rushes to receive the congratulations. That was the crucial moment, but there was still time here for Wallace to lose his nerve. But he did, and he did all that with great aplomb. And this individual duel it's turning out to be. Well, Glenn Hussein might want to see that again, will he? Between Wallace and Rosenthal, two players who've stepped out of the shadows today. Well read by Staunton. He had to be in there because the furthest forward for Southampton then was Harry Horn, who's been Staunton's responsibility this game. Staunton's pass, and look at the length of that to Rush. Houghton hits it, and it's turned out to be a cracking shot from Ray Houghton, and Liverpool go the direct route to regain the lead. Steve Staunton hit the first pass from here, and it went all the way through to Rush. One touchdown, one touch to control, another to shoot. Terrific. Peter Reid's Manchester City made a good start at Southampton. A goal from a successful combination for them. David White out on the right, and the aerial strength of Niall Quinn. A splendid header from the Republic of Ireland international striker. But defensive frailty has troubled City all season, and just onside in acres of space, his right foot shot too good for Tony Coton. At 1-1, Southampton sensing their first victory in 7 games, especially with the City defence offering such generous helpings of seasonal goodwill. Letitia was the beneficiary of this present, his 10th goal of the season. 3 points for Southampton. Very welcome too.
Liverpool and Arsenal are thought to be pursuing the prolific young Southampton striker Matthew Le Tissier, and another stunning performance at the Dell won't have lowered the asking price. Spurs were this week's victor, Le Tissier latching onto a speculative through ball for his first of the afternoon. Spurs' title challenge seems to have sunk without trace over the Christmas holiday, and without Paul Gascoigne, who was sick, they were short of creativity in midfield. The defence wasn't too clever either. Rodney Wallace volleying home a poor clearance. And yet another defensive tangle put the Londoners in even more trouble. The ball once again bounced kindly for Le Tissier to scramble home his 13th goal of the season.
Those precious 2 home victories pulled the Saints up to 15th place, not out of danger by any means. The FA Cup win at home to Ipswich meant the Saints were still in all 3 cup competitions, Shearer and Le Tissier the scorers in that 3rd round victory. The next league game was at Luton the following week.
Southampton have never But Southampton have some talent up front to compensate for their suspect defence. 26-year-old Soviet Alexei Cheretnik slides it through to Le Tissier in the 28th minute. 2-2 then at the interval. The second half just a minute old when Southampton strike again. Mick Adams crosses. Look at this from Le Tissier. His 11th goal of the season. Southampton now leading 3-2. In the 53rd minute, the Saints go further ahead. Alan Shearer finds Wallace, who gets his second of the afternoon. Southampton now 4-2 up. 12 minutes from time, Luton reduced the deficit. It looks like Cheretnik who pushes number 7, Elstrup. Definitely worth a second look. What matters is that referee Ray Lewis is convinced. John Dreyer. With Italian clubs once again showing an interest in some of England's top players, Nottingham Forest International transfer talk this week. What a time then to score his first goal for Nottingham Forest in the wrong net. Walker had been put under considerable pressure from Southampton's young striker Alan Shearer, but his ungainly lunge at the ball will go down as an embarrassing aberration. Shearer though gets full marks for initiative. It was Walker's England colleague Nigel Clough who saved his blushes minutes later when he reacted quickly to place the ball first time through a crowd of players. Worst news of the day though for Southampton was the knee injury to the First Division's top scorer Matthew Le Tissier, just 4 days before the Rumbelows Cup quarter-final replay at Manchester United.
In that Rumbelows Cup quarter-final, the Saints were beaten 3-2 at Old Trafford after the 1-1 draw at the Dell. Jimmy Case controversially sent off in Manchester. But there was better news in the FA Cup, where after a 1-1 draw at Coventry, the Saints won 2-0 in the replay, Case scoring and making a goal in an outstanding display.
early lead after just 20 minutes. A minute later, Booker captured his second prize. This a crowd of just under 17,000 at Bramall Lane must have been wondering on when United made it 3 in 8 minutes. The Blades had rediscovered their sharpness in front of goal, and it was that man Hodges, clearly acclimatised to life away from London, his second in 3 games for Sheffield. On 29 minutes, Southampton's back four completed the collapse of England cricket proportions. Brian Deane beats the unfortunate Flowers. 4 goals for United in 10 minutes. Well, that just about killed the game as a contest. Southampton, though, did pull one back. Kevin Moore converts the corner. United could have made it 5 moments later when Deane was tripped by the unlucky Neil Ruddock to earn the Yorkshire side their first penalty of the season. John Gannon will be relieved that his wayward spot kick came at a time when the points were already safe. But United on the march again.
Rangers welcome back top scorer Roy Wegley after a long absence with a knee injury, though the West London side seemed to have unearthed another sharp shooter in front of goal in Les Ferdinand. Bardsley's free kick, and Ferdinand reacts first as it comes back off keeper Ian Andrews. That's 4 in 3 games for Ferdinand. Rangers soon 2 up. It's Wegley and Ferdinand once again linking. And the poor Saints keeper Ian Andrews won't want to see this one replayed too often. Oh dear. Second half now, and Southampton at last begin to threaten. But there's a trip by the keeper Jan Stayskal on Danny Wallace. Penalty given, and Matthew Le Tissier has a chance to pull a goal back. It's number 17 of the season for Le Tissier. Too little too late though. The Saints much too close to the relegation area for comfort.
Those 2 successive defeats did leave things very tight at the bottom. The only consolation for Southampton, other teams around them also losing. In mid-February, Richard Hall, a tall young defender, was signed from Scunthorpe for £200,000, although he would have to wait to make his first-team debut. The Zenith Davis Cup run came to an end at Norwich after Rod Wallace had given the Saints the lead, and the cup misery continued when Nottingham Forest followed up a 1-1 draw at the Dell with a 3-1 win in the replay to knock the Saints out of the FA Cup. So now it was just league position to play for. March, a crucial month, started with Leeds United at home.
Leeds United, missing an injured Gordon Strachan, go behind to a Barry Horn free kick and a Paul Rideout header in the 9th minute. And Leeds could have gone further behind in this melee, which makes John Lukic's marvellous save academic. But Lukic gets his reward. Alan Shearer, just back from injury, denied from the spot by a keeper in splendid form. 15 minutes from time though, Rodney Wallace sets up Glenn Cockerell, whose superb finish ensures Southampton 3 much needed points.
At Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace were looking to consolidate their 3rd place in the First Division, but in the first half they could find no way past Tim Flowers in the Southampton goal. Ian Wright, the disappointed striker there. The Palace crowd had to wait over an hour for the first goal of the afternoon. It finally came after 67 minutes, skipper Jeff Thomas's header looping over Flowers. And just 60 seconds later it was Thomas again who made it 2-0 for Steve Coppell's side. Quite a goal it was too. This time Flowers given no chance at all by Thomas's free kick. Southampton though did manage a late consolation goal. The Palace defence clearing the ball only as far as Glenn Cockerell on the edge of the area, and the Southampton player finding the net 6 minutes from time. But 3 points for Palace, and Southampton now dangerously near the relegation zone.
Neil Ruddock's robust challenge on Les Sealey gave them the lead after 14 minutes. But in the second half, the Saints' defensive problems were exposed by a far from potent striking force. Paul Ince's goal was his first in the league for United, and it meant Southampton are the only team in the First Division to concede 50 goals this season.
Ratcliffe has come forward for Everton. McDonald can place it right. Oh, and Watson has scored again. What a run he's on. David Watson, 4 in 5 games. And Southampton are behind with half an hour gone. Force of numbers really for Everton. Good challenge at the far post by Cottee to make it happen for Watson. And at the moment the ball is falling at his feet in the opposing penalty area, game after game. Press mounts for Southampton. Free kick conceded by Milligan. Everton trying to push their euphoria here out of their minds and concentrate on defending at the free kick. Ruddock, who was penalised, and that led to the first goal of the game for Everton. Ruddock trying to supply something of his own here. Oh, both posts! An amazing let-off for Everton, and poor Southampton cursing their misfortune. Ruddock, one post, second post, and straight out to Southall. Well, you can see why Southampton send Ruddock forward at every opportunity. This is McLaughlin. Well, he's still trying to break his duck in Southampton's colours. A regular scorer from midfield, Paul Swindon, was part of the reason that he was such an attraction for Southampton. Spread out! McLaughlin, Shearer, taken from behind, and now it's Southampton's chance maybe to manoeuvre a free kick to their advantage. As Cockrell looks up, he'll see Ruddock there and Moore as well. Wallace makes his run. Case decides to take it himself. Oh, and it's a great save at the foot of the post from Moore by Southall. Back from Benali. Moore again. Shearer's dummy. Wallace. Ruddock lines it up. 1-1. No more than Southampton deserved. Their response to going behind has been most positive. And Ruddock makes up for the misfortune of hitting both posts earlier. Wallace laid it back, and it went through the crowd, and there was nothing that Southall could do. Only moments after he'd saved superbly from Moore's header. Southampton won, Everton won. And both number 5s have a goal to their name. John Ebrell. Back to Nevin. Oh, Milligan! Mike Milligan instantly restores Everton's advantage. And Southampton left with a sense of disbelief again. It's Milligan's first goal for Everton with a brave header, but once he got to the ball with the goalkeeper committed, the net was going to be empty. His touch first before Flowers. And after a rather cautious... Oh! Well, how did that end up at the back of the net? It's 2-2. It's a stroke of fortune here, is it? I think that came off Mike Newell. Jimmy Case took the free kick, and this is one of the most outrageous own goals that you'd ever wish to see. Mike Newell scratches the head that has put 16 minutes left. Southampton had let their guard slip at the substitution. And by McCall, and Newell scores in the right end this time. Stuart McCall simply had the responsibility here to have a crack, and it was a fumble by Flowers as the ball swerved, and that's just what Newell was praying for. Watson, Shearer, Ratcliffe away. Here's Case. Newell tackling back and leading to another bit of defensive disarray. Watson skewing it behind. Wallace takes the corner. Shearer headed it back when really Maddison could have called for that in a better position. Good job by Keown. Everton. Oh, they're two away. Onside. McCall is on the ball and Cottee were both in their own half. Is this 4-2? Oh! Southampton gambled and lost. Cottee scores. Flowers totally exposed. How often do you see this in the First Division? Southampton, who changed in bringing on Maddison, they lost their left back Benali in that substitution, and McCall. The only thing that just I wondered here whether Cottee was ahead of McCall as the ball came across the linesman didn't think so, and that's what mattered. It's going to be very, very hard for Southampton to come back from this. McCall caught them out with a break from midfield, and Cottee was given a present that he accepted with relish. It's been a mixture of the brilliant, the peculiar, the bizarre, and you have to say at times some shambles in Southampton's defending. That they've lived down to their label as the worst defensive team in the league. It's the first time that Everton have had the luxury of a two-goal cushion. Newell wants to add to that. McCall, Newell. Southampton have got a lot of players back, but I'm not sure that they know where they all are. And Everton didn't take full advantage. Case. Here's Maddison. Will Shearer was looking for Southall, right out, Shearer, goal given. And Shearer knows that. Minutes to go. Shearer didn't get there the first time. Southall stranded, right out's header, and well, you have to say that Shearer looked offside. And Everton protesting that this shouldn't have counted.
Third from the bottom going into this match, come away with a much needed win to boost their confidence. They take the lead midway through the first half. Good work from Rodney Wallace and Alan Shearer with a gift of a header. Number 13 of the season for Shearer. Well, Chelsea certainly had their chances to get back into the game. There's a good effort from fullback Tony Dorigo, seemingly on his way north to Glasgow Rangers. Almost, but not quite, giving the Sheds something to shout about. Wallace very much in evidence in Southampton's second goal as well. But there's superb work from Alan McLaughlin, the Republic of Ireland international. Brought down by Dave Besant, he knows that's a penalty. Matthew Le Tissier back after injury. That's 2-0. And the relegation worries easing. Cundy hits the post.
So, a very encouraging win at Chelsea, but the Saints still 16th. Derby and Sunderland looking favourites for relegation. Southampton not out of trouble. The transfer deadline approaching, and Chris Nicholl paid out £400,000 to buy back central defender John Gittins from Swindon. The manager also allowed Paul Rideout and Steve Davis to go out on loan to Swindon and Notts County respectively. Back to the First Division and a visit to Manchester City.
Topsy-turvy game at Main Road between City and Southampton. All 6 goals in the second half. Matthew Le Tissier puts the Saints in front. 47 minutes played. Just after the hour. Sit back in it. Simple goal too, a long free kick. Niall Quinn up well. Clive Allen tucks away the equaliser. 1-1. Player manager Peter Reid directing proceedings. City go ahead. Watch Mark Brennan from this free kick. No chance for Flowers. 2-1 up and just a quarter of an hour left. Quite a finish to this one though. The Saints force themselves back into it 6 minutes later. Spectacular goal too. Russell Osman's volley. And that's 2-2. Just 4 minutes to go now, and City must have thought they'd finally got all 3 points in the bag. Only their second win in 8 matches it would have been. It's played into the area, and David White makes it 3-2. But Southampton, who are in a bit of relegation trouble themselves, show massive resilience with the crowd begging for the final whistle. Alan McLaughlin makes it 3-3. What a match. Liverpool went to the Dell on Easter Monday, 2 points behind the leaders Arsenal, in need of a win to stay in touch with the Londoners. But after just 4 minutes, they went behind to Southampton. Shearer heads it down to Rod Wallace, onto Le Tissier, and the England under-21 beats Mike Hooper with a wicked deflection, his 20th league goal of the season. Well, Liverpool, though, had the chances to pull one back. Ian Rush thought he'd got the equaliser. Rush got the ball in the back of the net, but Liverpool and Rush's relief short-lived. The striker, harshly perhaps, adjudged to have brought the ball down with his hand. The chances, though, come thick and fast for Liverpool, but not the all-important goal. Peter Beardsley's trickery out on the byline. And this time Rush denied by a clearance on the goal line. Just wouldn't go in. In the second half, the roles reversed. Southampton came close to increasing their lead. They're denied by another goal line clearance. 1-0 to Southampton, it finished. At White Hart Lane, Gary Lineker back for Spurs after an Easter break. He'd been rested after complaining of feeling tired. He looked sharp enough here, 38 minutes gone, the England man doing what he does best. He does it again 3 minutes later. Van den Hau's pass, Lineker through, one-on-one with Tim Flowers in the Southampton goal, and Lineker gets the better of it once again. It doesn't go all Lineker's way though. In the second half he has the chance for a hat-trick from the penalty spot. Flowers saves well. Spurs and Lineker though on song for next week's FA Cup semi-final with Arsenal.
Only 4 points from the last 3 games and the Saints in 16th place in the table, still mathematically in relegation trouble, but realistically a mid-table placing should be possible. Next, the league leaders came to the Dell. Here's Gittins, and he's played it without looking, and Kevin Campbell has put it just wide to the considerable relief of John Gittins, who was conscious of Alan Smith to him, but not of Kevin Campbell behind him. Tremendous clearance from Flowers, and Southampton have got possession because of it. Le Tissier has drawn 4 towards him, and handball by Dixon. And you could see the concern in the Arsenal ranks then, as Le Tissier was able to collect the ball right on the edge of the penalty area. And they'll still be capabilities at a free kick, and they've tried to take a quick one and catch Arsenal out. But the referee wasn't ready. So Case is there. To the right of Le Tissier and Cockerill, and Neil Ruddock lurking with some intent as well. Le Tissier having a long look at the angle, and he takes it past the wall, but not past David Seaman, who clutched it in the nick of time. Typically clever Le Tissier free kick, typical Seaman save. Dixon waiting for the movement up front, and Smith as usual provided it and angled it down beautifully for Campbell. Direct and purposeful Arsenal football here, with Alan Smith the key to it all, and Campbell having to take the shot quickly, and on the half volley too, couldn't keep it down. Dixon for Campbell. Smith's inside him, and Campbell tries his luck. It very nearly came off the goalkeeper. To Smith, down he goes as Flowers was trying to get possession. Arsenal want a penalty, they're not going to get it. Some mayhem in the Southampton penalty area. They're no strangers to that, the home defenders. It was a great try initially by Campbell, but the ball didn't run for Arsenal, and the referee didn't blow for them either. And it's still 0-0. Davis beating Cockerill to it. Le Tissier, faced by Bold, and hounded by Thomas as well. And Le Tissier still makes room for the shot. Well, he can look lazy and lethargic at times, but at his best, he really is one of the First Division's richest talents. And even a defence as grudging as Arsenal's were being troubled here by Matthew Le Tissier. Le Tissier wants to take them on. Does take them on. A chance for Southampton. Well, had it gone in, it's a goal that would have been replayed time and time again through the sheer nerve of Matthew Le Tissier. But the shot didn't produce Southampton what they wanted. Winterburn under pressure. Less so here. Now Merson. Arsenal congregating in the centre. And Merson lines it up. Oh, it was a double ricochet. First of all off Case, and then it has to go down as an own goal to Mickey Adams. Well, Merson should get credit for his positive play, but it was a cruel goal for Southampton to concede. Wallace. Arsenal closing in on yet another victory. And if they can hold on here, well, it's bad news for Liverpool. Adams. Now Shearer. Wallace to the left. Dixon trying to stop the cross coming in. But it does towards Le Tissier. Arsenal look for offside. No flag. 1-1. Complaints from the league leaders. But Adams, who had been unfortunate when Arsenal had scored, has set up the equaliser for Le Tissier.
Sunderland now look odds-on to make a quick return to the second division, despite getting off to a good start at the Dell. The German Thomas Hauser puts the North-Easterners in front on 26 minutes. His first league game since last October. Southampton are level just before the interval. What a cheeky goal as well. A back heel from Rodney Wallace. And that's 1-1. Southampton now get 2 in 9 minutes after the break. The first from a penalty after a scramble in the area. And amid all the confusion, a definite handball on the line. The referee points to the spot. Sunderland very unhappy about it. And Gordon Armstrong soon afterwards is sent off for dissent. Matthew Le Tissier puts away the penalty. And Southampton are 2-1 up. Worse to come for Sunderland. Southampton get a third late in the game. Simple goal as well. Alan Shearer, the scorer. And Sunderland go back to the North East, contemplating next season back in the second division. A good day for Southampton's Rodney Wallace down at the Dell. The wingers 2 goals in just 4 minutes give the South Coast club all 3 points against Coventry. Cockerell's pass and Wallace is in for the first. Southampton 1 up, 27 minutes played. On 31 minutes it's 2. A run from Matthew Le Tissier at the Coventry defence. Grizovic can only parry the shot and it falls perfectly for Wallace. Number 18 of the season for him. In the second half, Coventry get one back on 73 minutes. Kenny Sanson's cross. Cyril Regis knocks it back and Mickey Ginn finishes it off. His 11th of the season, but Coventry's 6-match unbeaten run comes to an end. Peter Shilton back in goal for Derby 25 years to the day after his league debut. Derby relegated, of course, but they turn on the style here. Paul Williams puts them in front and there's just 4 minutes played. It's going to be quite a day for him at the baseball ground. 18 minutes later, another one for Williams. Looks a bit offside here, but he's allowed to run on and he beats Tim Flowers comfortably. There's more to come from Williams, but before that, Southampton pull one back just after the half hour. And this time, it's the Derby defence that are caught very square. Rod Wallace in the clear, and a fine finish to beat Shilton. 2-1 to Derby. 10 minutes later, Derby get a third goal. Ted McMinn, still useful out on the left-hand side, brought down by Giddins. Not too much doubt about that one. And a chance for a hat-trick
for Paul Williams. And he takes it. 3-1 to Derby. In the second half, it's Dean Saunders' turn to get his name on the score sheet. On the hour, Saunders in the clear again. Southampton's offside trap is sprung once more. And that's number 4. Quite a final flourish at the baseball ground. 3 goals in the last 5 minutes. Justin Phillips this time hooks it past Flowers. 5-1 to Derby. A minute later, Southampton pull another goal back. The Derby defence a bit too forceful for the referee's liking. And that's a penalty. Shilton facing Matt Le Tissier. And Le Tissier gets the better of the former England keeper. 5-2, and there's still more to come. Just a minute to go now. The Saints defence all over the place. And the ball arrives for Dean Saunders. The easiest of headers from him. The Derby crowd at last, something to cheer about, their first league win of the year. Down at the Dell, Southampton are in front right before half-time. Some good work by Alan McLaughlin, and Jimmy Case slots it in. Would you believe it? His first league goal of the season on the final Saturday. Early in the second half, the Dons get their equaliser across from Laurie Sanchez. And John Fashanu finishes it off. That's his 20th of the season. The Saints won, the Dons won.
A final league placing of 14th, and no real success in cup competitions either, though but for a harsh penalty decision at Nottingham Forest, more might have been achieved in the FA Cup. Chris Nicholl was typically honest about Southampton's shortcomings.
A lot of it's been poor defending, I have to say that. It's not as if teams have carved us apart. We've had 1 or 2 terrific games, certainly at the Dell. We had a period where we beat Liverpool 1-0. We drew with Arsenal on the following Tuesday, I think it was, or Wednesday, and they were both cracking games, terrific games, and Liverpool were especially prominent in attack, and they really searched us out, but we blocked on the line, we stuck in there, we got a clean sheet on that occasion, and Tim Flowers was very happy with that. So we are capable of doing that. The Arsenal game 1-1 was a cracking game, as good as you could ever find anywhere. But in amongst it, we lapse too often. We certainly concede goals too easily. I hope to find the right combination at the back this year to improve on last year. It was the same story last year where we could flow and we were entertaining. We scored goals, but conceded too many. I was obviously hoping that we could get the right combination at the back this year to solve those problems. And I thought just recently we'd gone a long way to doing that. But again, the match at Derby just shows you if you don't get it right, you get smacked in the face.
Not exactly the season Southampton had hoped for, but there was no shortage of entertainment, with Le Tissier and Wallace top of the bill.